It is often said that whenever a Marvel Legend releases and somebody's surprised by it, they're like, oh, that wasn't on my Marvel Legends bingo card, or that one checks another one off my bingo list. Guess what, folks? Here at the Strong Collectors, we're all about that bingo. We made bingo cards for our wish list, so we're going to talk about that today. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Strong Collectors Podcast. I'm your host, Dakota, here with my co-host, Jordan. Like I said, we've got our bingo cards made. This is going to be somewhat of our ultimate-ish wish list. I feel like there's so many figures we wish for, but this is kind of, we had to condense it down to fit on a bingo card. So feel free to share with us what your bingo card entails. I think we'll go through row by row, kind of like we did with our predictions. So we've done our predictions. If you haven't watched that, make sure you watch that after this. I'll probably be at the end of the video. So this is strictly wish list. So we have to want everything on this list, right, Jordan? Like everything on this list, I would buy. Did I beat you to it?
Yeah, you beat me by 1 second. I've never seen a wish list where every figure on that list I would buy, though. They're all my exact style. So yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So,
yeah, for sure.
All right, I'm gonna start you off with my B category.
All right.
I think to nobody's surprise, and nobody's gonna be surprised at your first either, but to nobody's surprise, the first up on my list has to be Kashala. I think it's gonna require a lot of new tooling, but if they made this figure, this would be a sweet figure. You're gonna give her the half like transitioning face, so you're gonna have like kind of the Ghost Rider half and then the regular half. It's got to come. I need if they make Kashala and they don't do that face, I would be happy that they made Kashala, but I'd be disappointed that I'd have to go find now a custom
I'll still buy
head.
it, but I'll be slightly upset.
Going down the list in the B2 is going to be a Yellow Jacket. Now I would have swore that they were going to make a Yellow Jacket last year with the HasLab coming out. I thought it was going to be a tier to the HasLab. Still no Yellow Jacket. And I really liked the early Hasbro one. I don't think that's a terrible figure either. But it does need an update. And I sold my old one, so I need a new one. I'll take a Yellow Jacket, please. And I would just take him normally. I don't need a growing giant man or a growing Yellow Jacket. I don't even need a shrinking one, because I did like the shrinking one that came with the Toy Biz Wonder Man. That one's going to be good enough. Plain old Yellow Jacket. Going down the list, another one that's probably not much of a shocker. I want some more Crystar figures. I tried to keep this to not be an entire bingo card of Crystar figures that are never going to happen, but I went with Warbow. I would love a Moltar. I'd love all the Crystal Warriors. I'd love a Crystal Dragon for my Moltar or for my Crystal Warriors to ride. But I'm just going to say Warbow. Give me a second in command. He comes with a little crossbow. Give him an eye patch. That'd be good. Moving farther down, I'm going to say a Fortnite Thor. This is going to be the Herald Thor, all powered up blue. I've been saying this since the first one came out. I thought they were going to do an alternate look with that. And I've said it so often that I kind of want that now. So I'd always love some more Heralds of Galactus, and give me a Fortnite Thor. I'm a happy camper. Last up in my first row is going to be a pink armored Ironheart. Ironheart is probably my favorite, like, newish, like, modern character. And the pink armor is kind of her main look. Like, after she goes, like, initially it's kind of that Iron Man looking armor, and then she kind of makes it her own, and it's the pink. That's the version I'd like. They've got the Ironheart show coming out soon. Is that coming this year?
I thought it was next. Maybe it's this.
I couldn't remember if they pushed it back or if they just totally canceled it. Or,
so
yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
At some point, it will maybe be released.
The comics were fun. I liked them. So I'd like a new version of that, too. Because I like the old one, too. But give me both armors.
I could see a new version of that. I really hope, Dakota, you get all the Crystar figures and more that you wish for. I hope it's a wave and you can build your dragon.
Oh, that'd be great.
But I'm going to believe that for you this year. Starting off my row with my Bs. Now, a lot of you, if you've been listening, and Dakota as well, may have thought I would have a bingo card with 24 Frankencastles. If that's what it took, I would be willing to do that. However, I dreamed a little bit bigger. So my B1 is indeed Frankencastle. I mean, that's probably my all-time most requested Marvel Legend. Definitely want him. I mean, that'd be a dream come true. So that's going to start us off. My next one is going to be Frankencastle adjacent. It's going to be Manphibian. I'd love all the Legion of Monsters. I'd really take any monsters I can get. But Manphibian, I think, would be particularly cool. Would totally go for that one. A third figure that a few more people might want is going to be a classic Bucky. So just your classic World War II look. Maybe he's in a 2-pack. Maybe he's in an Invaders wave or set. Who knows?
Mm.
That would make my dreams come true. But a classic Bucky for sure would instantly, I'd get him. Another one that I've been asking for a little bit is an Uncle Ben. Now, last year there was some kind of leak about an Uncle Ben Death 2-pack. I'm still hoping that comes around. But I would like any version of Uncle Ben. I think that's one civilian character that you kind of just got to have. He's iconic enough. And speaking of iconic civilian characters, my next one is going to be a comic Jarvis. Again, I think you need a Jarvis in your collection, and I would spring for a Jarvis for sure.
He's got to come with a vacuum cleaner accessory, right?
I think so, yeah. Vacuum cleaner, and maybe like an Avenger, pager button or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be cool.
Those would, that'd be great.
I'd love to get that Bucky for sure. And even Manphibian would be kind of tempting, even though I haven't read any books with, but just like the character design looks really cool. So that would be a tempting one for me. But for sure, Bucky would be a definite pickup. All right. Second row. First one. They've done it before, but they could do it much better. I want a Silver Savage. I think it's kind of Fantastic Four-y. I mean, obviously Silver Surfer is, but like Silver Savage is much more like Hulk character. But I just thought this was such a cool look for him to be like using his surfboard as a shield. He's got the mace. I thought this was. It's not like I've read like all of the Silver Surfer comics, but when I saw this one, I was like, that is amazing. And they've done that before, but I've been tempted to pick that one up.
He could use an update for sure.
Yeah, I've seen it in person.
I don't think it holds up.
It's cooler in my mind. Yeah. So, give me an updated there.
It's a great pick. I will wish for that one for sure.
I think if you go back to our very first wish list we ever did, I had Penance on that wish list, and I'm putting him on this bingo card. We're getting some Dark Avengers related characters. We go back a little bit, and we can throw Penance in the like Thunderbolts kind of before they became the Dark Avengers. We've gotten Speedball a few years ago. Now we got to get the. It's kind of, I don't know. It'd take like all new tooling up and down. It's out there, but it's possible. A little more likely though is going to be Vengeance. Is he coming with a bike or not? I hope he would, but I could probably just use the Toy Biz bike. It's not going to be quite perfect, but just at least a new figure of Vengeance would be cool because I always liked that one as a kid. And just kind of like a Ghost Rider looks cool, but I think Vengeance looks cooler. So,
whoa, okay, hot take. Debate that in the comments.
I mean, he's got his ribs shooting out of his jacket or whatever those things are.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just think that's a bold statement.
Let me know if I'm wrong. Then I'm going Astonishing X-Men Beast. So this is probably your. I doubt it's your least favorite Beast, but it's not your favorite Beast, Jordan. But I need it.
I do not love Cat Beast. Never have.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know that I love Cat Beast either, but I love the Astonishing X-Men.
You love that team, and you love those books, so I get it.
And it's
He's
another
very
one.
cool in those books, so yeah.
Yeah, they've done Astonishing Beast before, but I don't think it's really going to hold up to go with your new Astonishing figures. Like we just got Astonishing Wolverine, putting that next to Beast. I'm going to need Beast in the very back and not too visible because he needs updated. All right, this one, I debated putting it on here because it's a wish. It's probably not going to happen. But I still, even though we've gotten 2 large versions already, I want a 12-inch Sentinel. Give or take a couple inches, make him 14. That's fine. Don't make him any bigger than that. Stop making giant things that aren't going to fit on my shelves. 12-inch Sentinel, similar scale as the Toy Biz one. I can actually have an army of those. I can't have an army of HasLabs. Nobody's got that kind. Well, not nobody. Most people don't have that kind of shelf space. Give me 12-inch Sentinels. I'll buy an army of them.
I I think those are some good. I definitely. I'm still pulling for the Sentinel there, so I'll join in on that one too, because that would be great. My eyes, starting off with another one I've requested a lot. It's going to be a battle damage Spider-Man, some version of him, whatever he looks like. Comic battle damage Spider-Man, make me super happy. Another Spider-Man character I would like to see would be Menace from when they were doing the Brand New Day storylines. I thought this was a cool character, cool design. I don't think the character ever really went anywhere too cool, but initially I was a big fan. I'd also, a big one I would want any of is the classic Agents of Atlas. So, you know, any of those characters from like kind of the initial What If book into the like newer series they did a couple years ago with like Marvel Boy, the Olympian, you know, just kind of any of them. I'll take any of them.
Mm-hmm.
From that version though.
And I think if any of them do get made, then you get that box checked.
Right. Okay. Good. Yes. That's a deep enough cut.
Yeah, that is.
Gladly accept that. So any of the classic Agents of Atlas. I'm also going to go with the Red Ghost, a villain that I would love to see. Again, we got the Fantastic Four coming up. Maybe there's some synergy with the comics. Get some Fantastic Four villains. And, of course, Dakota, I had to do this as a separate box because you can't have Red Ghost without his Super Apes. I'd love to just get a pack with them, get them all together, but because I doubt you'd just sell Super Apes.
Right.
I don't even know if they'd sell Super Apes at all, but I'd certainly want some. So
maybe that could be like the Build-A-Figure wave of like,
okay.
You get like a monkey as like a Build-A-Figure piece, then you get like the arms of the orangutan as a Build-A-Figure piece. And it's kind of like there's several Build-A-Figures a part of the Build-A-Figure wave, and you're making like 3 Super Apes. So maybe that's how they could do it.
Okay. Yeah, I'd take that. So there you go. That's my eye row.
Yeah. Not a ton in there for me, but that's
almost nothing there for me.
But there are definitely some cool figures. I mean, I would, even though I don't really know much about the Super Apes, I do love monkeys, so I would be tempted to get those at least.
All right.
Take it. Moving into the next row, I'm going to start off with a Black Knight, and I'm going to say like all night Black Knight. Like, I don't know if I've got to be super specific on him, but I just like, they had the bomber jacket Black Knight. I don't like that look for him. I'd much rather have him looking like a knight. So if you gave him a cape, I mean, I really love the early Hasbro one. That's probably my favorite one. So if we got an updated look of that,
style.
Right? Even though like
medieval modern kind
I was gonna say the modern one looks cool too, with kind of the furry cape and either way, ideally that would be the look. Because I kind of liked the whatever wave that was. That's sort of newer, but I mean it's older now. Legs snapped on me, and I was like, I'm not buying another one of these because that leg mold was just kind of fragile. It happened to a lot of people, so I said no more of that. I'm just sticking with my Dark Days of Hasbro look. Going down the list, though, I'm going to say a Punisher, and this is going to be the more ninja version of Punisher, when he was kind of the leader of the hand ninjas. I'd probably go just the regular white. You could eventually do an alternate version where you've got the red logo. I would, even though he's going to come with the white, I would want the alternate head where he's got kind of like the red smoky eyes. I think that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I think that would be good to go along with your King Daredevil and your Daredevil Elektra that we'd gotten in the Mindless One wave. So I still would like a classic Punisher, and that's on my predictions list. If you haven't watched that one, still watch that one after this. But I would also like the ninja one. Then it's a free space. And then I'm going down. I think if you go back to that first initial wish list, this might have been on that one too. And that's going to be a red She-Hulk. I think we just got a really good body for She-Hulk with the retro Iron Man wave She-Hulk. I think they could do, it would have to be a little different. The costume's not the same, but, give her probably the leather jacket type of look, red She-Hulk. You don't even, I think I would kind of want more of like a neutral and an angry, but if I had to only pick one head, you'd probably want the angry head. The last one on this row is going to be an A-Bomb, sticking with my Hulk theme. A-Bomb is one that I've been wanting for quite a while. You mentioned that in the last video too, Jordan. I think he's not really around much anymore, I don't think, in comics. But he's in the... Hulk Smash is still current, I think. Is that coming out? It's like a newer cartoon. I don't know if they're still making episodes for it or not. Or maybe it's Agents of Smash. I don't know. There's some Hulk cartoon that he was a part of.
Wasn't that show like 10 years ago?
I thought there was a newer one too. Maybe I'm thinking like that's the name of the older one. But I thought there was a newer cartoon also on.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
But
maybe.
Anyway.
Okay.
I just need any way you want to make that justification, it needs to be made.
Red She-Hulk and A-Bomb. I mean, I think there's a lot of characters from that couple-year era of Hulk that you could definitely see them pulling from that we haven't seen before. So I don't think that's honestly too wild of a wish. So let's hope. When we get to my ends, my first end is going to be the Blazing Skull. Now, I want a classic Blazing Skull, Dakota. I want him in that red jumpsuit, World War II style, big flowing cape, all the works. I don't think I'd be as interested if he had an updated look, but that's what I would wish for. Another guy with a skull for a head. What are the odds of that? I'm gonna throw down a wish for Robert Helsgaard, also from the Frankencastle storyline. Kind of a zombie-like steampunk monster hunter man. So you can see why I like him. This one's probably never going to happen because he would have crazy tooling they would only use one time. But man, boy, would I be happy about that. So Robert Helsgaard's out there. I got a free space. We'll say that one's Hell Cow. My next one after that is going to be a comic Isaiah Bradley. So, again, I think he's a figure that he, of course, Isaiah Bradley showed up in Falcon Winter Soldier. He's going to be in the new Captain America, so maybe you could see him. That might be a little more likely. But I think doing a comic version of him would be pretty cool to see. And then finally, another version of Captain America. Now, this one is one that probably no one wants to see, but I'm going to throw him out there, Dakota. And it is none other than the infamous Rob Liefeld barrel chest Captain America. I would lose it, absolutely. I'd probably have to buy one just for nostalgia's sake, but you know the one I'm talking about. You've seen the image. It's burned into your brain forever. So hit me with that, Captain America. Give him a rock to hide his feet behind, maybe.
Oh, that would be
Rob
perfect.
Can't draw those. Or like a Juggernaut. Remember that Juggernaut cover where he's got like a teeny tiny thread of a foot?
Right.
That'd be a great... I think I sent you one recently where it's Captain America talking to the president, and he's literally standing on one foot so his foot can hide behind his other foot.
What?
So
I don't. You have to resend me that one. I don't remember that, but I remember sending you pictures because I was reading the new Deadpool team-up book, and he's got feet in there. He's definitely gotten better now, 20, 30 years later, whatever it is, but not by much because he's still got them walking through a swamp so that their feet are covered. He's still... it seems very intentional that he's cutting those parts out. So, you know, Jordan, maybe you just that cap is cut off at the knees. That he doesn't even come with feet. Make it a real deep cut.
It's like a bust, articulated bust.
Right.
There you go. Exactly. Yes.
All right. Next row for me.
Jeez.
I'm starting out with a Dread Knight. I think. Like I said when we were talking about Jack-O-Lantern, I think they're going to use parts from Jack-O-Lantern on a new Dread Knight. So they've only done him as an SDCC. I thought that was a pretty cool figure, but it was way too expensive, and I didn't trust those legs not to snap, so I sold mine. But I do want this character. Another character that I'm always mentioning, I'd like a Magic. Any Magic they do, I would pick up for sure. But I'm going to say the New Mutants look. So just kind of the yellow and black, probably metal arm. Definitely going to need sword. Alternate heads, not a huge deal. But if we could get like a angry head and a neutral head, that'd be cool. Not completely necessary. This is the only MCU figure on my list. But I'm going to say a Cohorty. I thought that was a really cool what if episode. I wish they would do more, like, as much as I don't like when Marvel Comics takes things from the MCU and like I think they've made Doctor Strange in the comics much more like Doctor Strange in the movies, stuff like that. I do wish they would pull a few of those characters that have done well, or at least in my mind, I think they're cool. Like, I wish they would do like a whole Captain Carter series. I wish they would do a whole Kahori series. Maybe eventually. But anyway, I want that figure. And I think you could use parts from that to make your Kashala. A little synergy there. Going down the list, probably my most wanted. Is it my most wanted? Yeah. For one single display and for that display only, I hope they make a Baron Mordo. Trying to recreate the comic covers of the Red Hulk and Green Hulk clashing. And Baron Mordo is the only one.
Defenders versus the whatever they're called.
Offenders? Yeah, I don't know what they are.
Can't call them that anymore.
But anyway, I want a Baron Mordo to complete that team. Jordan really likes his joke.
They can't live within 500 feet of any schools. Sorry.
That's funny. I didn't even take it as that. I just thought you meant like offensive. But I see what you mean by offender.
A whole
now.
other route.
Anyway, last up on that row for me is going to be a Stardust. So another Herald of Galactus, probably a little bit more in line with what they would probably do. Not going to be as easy to do as a Fortnite Thor, but you could do Stardust. Because just because we had a successful HasLab Galactus campaign doesn't mean we should forget about him and never give us anything else to accompany it. Give me some more Heralds of Galactus. And that'd be the coolest one I think that they haven't done. Obviously, there's Golden Oldie and some of the other ones, but
hit us with those.
That's that row.
I think a Baron Mordo I could actually see, because again, haven't had him, and that's a classic. Maybe part of a supervillains wave 2.
That would be cool.
If anyone ever wanted to make that. Speaking of villains, I'm going to start off my N wave with a McFarlane style Torment Lizard. Now, I like the retro Lizard, and the Build-A-Figure to me never quite cut it, but I think if you gave him more of that monster vibe, but not giant, that would be pretty sweet. This is my favorite version of Lizard, and he'd go great with my Battle Damage Spider-Man. Another one I'd love to get would be an update, and that would be Captain Marvel, like Marvel. That old figure just does not cut it at all for me, but I think you could give him some cool articulation. He doesn't really need a whole lot of bells and whistles either. Pretty simple figure. So, Captain Marvel.
I was thinking with your Captain Marvel, on your predictions list, you've got a Rick Jones. Could you do a Rick Jones Captain Marvel 2-pack?
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. You're right. Technically, there's a lot of history with those guys, so maybe. That's a good thought. Yeah, that would check off too, because I'd like both of those guys actually. So we'll see. Another one that I think might be a little less likely, but it's going to be the Wizard. And I only put the Wizard on here, Dakota, because I know if I get the Wizard, there's a good chance I'm getting some other classic invaders. So bit of a cheat there.
We do have a Wizard already. Not the Wizard you want.
Wizard?
Wasn't the Wizard? Isn't that what his name is? Like one of the superior foes of Spider-Man type of thing. Maybe that wasn't the Wizard. I thought that was like a more modern look for him. Maybe that was Speed Demon. I don't think so. Speed Demon,
might be Speed Demon.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking of.
The Wizard is a little more absurd looking, but also just love his name. Great name. So hit me with the Wizard. Another one that I'm going to want is a updated comic book Sif. The A-Force one I do like, but I think you could give her, again, some updates. Probably a bit of a bulkier. I'd even take more She-Hulk-esque body. Just, I don't think she needs that standard female body they use. So, classic updated Sif. And then finally, I'm going to wish for an Immortal Hulk, because I've been reading those comics lately. Really like them, but I think give me that Hulk with that more monstrous face that he's got in those books. And I'd be pretty happy.
I like it. We're going to head into our last row now. And this, I've got a few double ups, and some of these I'm getting into the weeds here, but first one I think it's pretty likely. I'm going to say it's a King Carnage. Pretty modern, but Hasbro puts out, it seems like, at least 1 or 2 Carnage figures a year. So King Carnage I think is kind of, I like the classic look mostly, but as far as alternate looks for Carnage, this would be the coolest option to go with. Then I've said it a few times. I would like a Acolyte Colossus. Never read anything with it, but I remember there was a trading card, and I was like, oh, this looks cool. What is this? I was like, oh, that's Colossus is a bad guy. I was like, what? That's crazy. I want that figure. Staying with Colossus, if you go back and watch one of our most recent episodes of our Avengers vs. X-Men, I would love a Juggernaut Colossus. I have read stories with that. I'd like to read more, but it's a cool look, and I'm surprised I haven't done it yet. As far as like bigger figures go, I think that looks like a cool action figure, so I think it should be made. Next up is going to be, I don't even know, this would probably be in the made to order, because I don't know that they're going to go back to the HasLab anymore, but it's going to be a Fin Fang Foom. And I would like to do a episode just talking about Fin Fang Foom versus the Mythic Legion Dragon, and if it's even possible to do a Fin Fang Foom anymore, or if Mythic Legions is going to cut into that market. So maybe that's a whole other idea for an episode. Stay tuned for that. Into the very last box on my bingo card, I remember flipping through all of your Marvel encyclopedias, going through like every Marvel character type things. At the very bottom, at the very last page of every single one of them, is always Zax. Is that how you say his name?
I think it is, actually, yeah. I always said it Zaz as a kid, but I think
Zaz?
it's technically Zax.
Yeah.
I think that's how people say it.
Another figure that I think would be a pretty cool Build-A-Figure. I don't think it needs to be... I think there's varying sizes that he is in the comics. Probably sometimes could be more HasLab-y. I don't... Cut him down to Build-A-Figure. That's totally fine. But getting that kind of like translucent-y, orangish yellow...
Yeah.
Just like giant ball of energy type of character, I think would look really cool.
Yeah, he would be a really cool one. And I think another kind of more deeper cut bad guy, but that I think has enough of a following. I'm sure they've thought about it at some point. So I think the translucent.
If you're wanting a full Build-A-Figure villain wave, kind of like they did with the Zemnu, I think that's a perfect Build-A-Figure for it.
That's great. I love that idea. See, our vision's coming together. This is the beautiful part about wishing with a friend. Okay, so now my O's. I got some wishes here. Again, I think some of them. We'll see. First one I'm going to have is Swarm. Always loved Swarm as a kid. Had a Swarm toy. I loved him on Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. I could see Swarm getting an update. I don't hear a lot of chatter about Swarm, but I think he's cool. So I'd like a Swarm. You know, I'm also going to want some updated Doombots. Very happy with my Toy Biz Doombots. I don't know. I'd love this as like an army builder. You know, I'd like some infantry Doombots or even some heavy-duty Doombots would be a dream. Can I say any version of that Doombot?
Any version, I think, is going to count.
Bulky? Yeah. Okay. So some version of Doombot would make me incredibly happy. Another robotic version of a character that I would love, because I never got to have it as a kid, was the Mech Hulk. If you remember that one, Dakota. I always thought he looked sweet. And, you know, I think he could be updated too. And I think there's a lot of people that would like him, because if I remember right, he's still pretty expensive if you found him.
Yeah, I think so.
And even if you did, usually it seems like he's kind of busted. So
yeah, I would definitely want an update of that for sure, because I agree. Never had that one as a kid, but always thought that looked super cool.
Right. So Mech Hulk I'm going to put on there. Another one that I would like, and this would be an updated Puck. Now, main reason for this, Dakota, is my wife I had a Build-A-Figure Puck. She expressed no interest, sold them, and then she said, "Where'd that guy go?" And that Puck just has been gone ever since then. So I can never justify paying for that Build-A-Figure Puck. But I could see them putting out a new Puck, maybe giving you some other Alpha Flight guys or something. I don't know. New Sasquatch, maybe. Who knows? So some version of Puck. And then finally, to go with my Invaders, I would love to have a classic style Baron Blood. Go in great with my monster theme, with my hopefully all these Invaders and retro figures I'm going to be getting this year. I'd love that. And that will round out my bingo card.
I like it. Let us know in the comments what you have on your bingo card. Which one of us do you think is going to be more likely to get their bingo first? I guess we didn't say, like, there's some skin in the game here. Whichever one of us loses has to buy the other person a figure. So, should have done that at the beginning. But if you watched our other video, you already knew that from the beginning. So, Make sure you're liking, sharing, and subscribing. And until next time, stay strong.